Welcome back to my newest series, where today we're covering my top 5 reasons to visit the Potawatomi Zoo. I first became aware of this zoo sometime in the 2010s, and although it is only about a 2-hour drive from where I've grown up, somehow a visit kept getting put off. When I finally made my first visit in 2019, one of my biggest takeaways was that I should have visited sooner. I'm not sure if it was the unique experience of watching a great blue heron fish, the adorable Chacoan Peccary peclets, or the handful of species I had never seen at another zoo, but the Potawatomi Zoo quickly landed itself a spot among the zoos that I now visit yearly. Before we jump into the list, I want you to comment your top reasons why you would recommend someone to visit your local zoo. And now, without any further ado, my first reason to visit the Potawatomi Zoo. It's affordable. Around the Great Lakes region, visiting a large zoo is likely going to run you at least close to $30 per person, which can really add up quickly if you're visiting as a family. Looking at smaller zoos, like Potawatomi in the same region, I found admission ranges of $11 to a little over $20 per person. The Potawatomi Zoo falls on the lower end at currently $14 for an adult. And if you have a reciprocal membership like me, and can resist the temptation to purchase food, souvenirs, or ride the rides, your entire visit to the zoo could cost you just $7. Of course, if you can't afford it, I would always recommend spending your money at a zoo, since you know it's going to good causes. Number 2, the size. I discussed this in my Potter Park breakdown, so I won't go on and repeat all of that here. To keep it brief, big zoos can be a lot sometimes, and it can be nice to instead tackle a smaller park. The Potawatomi Zoo is just 23 acres, all of which is fairly flat and easy to navigate. If you're on a time crunch, you could probably see everything the zoo has to offer in about an hour. Or if you're like me, you can peruse the entire zoo 2 to 3 times in around 3 to 4 hours to make sure you see as many animals as possible active at least once. Additionally, I feel the zoo makes excellent use of their space so that there are not extended walks between exhibits while also not feeling cramped at the same time. Number 3, the history. When you think of Indiana zoos, you may well think of the Indianapolis Zoo or even the Fort Wayne Children's Zoo. However, the Potawatomi Zoo predates them both. With over 100 years worth of history, there's a lot here to pique the interest of anyone who is fascinated with zoo history, especially exhibit designs like myself. Some of the remaining older styled habitats include the Lemur and Spider Monkey Islands and the Cat House, the zoo's oldest remaining building that was constructed by the Works Progress Administration in 1940, and in its current state has seen the birth of critically endangered Amur leopard cubs. Shifting gears with number 2, the recent improvements. As much as I enjoyed the Potawatomi Zoo on my first visit, I probably wouldn't have described it as modern. However, that has definitely started to change over the past 5 years. Perhaps the best example, the zoo recognized that their lions and chimps were both not living in ideal settings, so to remedy this, the zoo transferred their 2 remaining chimps to another zoo where they could live with a larger social group, and transformed the former chimp space into a modern home for a new pride of lions. Of course, just after my last visit, the zoo opened a new Andean bear habitat following a similar design, and the multi-species giraffe savanna, completed in 2022, is now the largest habitat in the zoo. And it's not just the exhibits. The zoo's animal collection has been improving as well. More recent major additions include okapis, a white rhino, and of course the giraffes and Andean bear. So at current, whether you're a history buff or looking for the most modern zoo experience, the Potawatomi Zoo definitely has something to offer. And finally, number 1, a unique collection. In my debut of this series, I asked you all to comment what you consider when deciding which zoos to visit, and the most common response was the zoo's number of rare zoo species. As a smaller park, I consider the Potawatomi Zoo's animal list to be quite unique. Of course, this is subjective to my region, but this is still the only place I've seen Diana monkeys, Mexican spider monkeys, and the only accredited zoo where I've seen common genets. This was the first zoo at which I saw peccaries and banded mongooses, sand cats, white-fronted marmosets, fennec foxes, and frilled lizards round out the list of species that I haven't seen at many other parks. And when you add these rarer species onto the zoo's list of more common popular zoo animals, I consider it to be a collection well worth checking out. And that does it for my look at why I recommend visiting the Potawatomi Zoo. As always, thank you for watching, be sure to share your thoughts below, and look for, as promised, my first full zoo tour to be released in the coming weeks.